Hey guys, Sak here from Saki Tech. So in today's video, what we're going to do is we are going to be sharing the first 11 things to do with your brand new and shiny iPhone 11. So if you have this phone, you want to tweak these settings immediately to make sure you get the best performance and best experience with your iPhone 11. So let's jump right in. Alright, so the very first thing you want to do is you want to go to your settings, alright? And then you want to go over to your actual battery right over here. And I want you guys to make sure to check the battery health, okay? So this is just a step to make sure that the phone that you have just purchased does in fact have maximum capacity of 100% for your battery. If this number is less than 100%, if it's 90%, 95%, there's something wrong with that battery. That battery is not good. It has to be 100% in the beginning when you first buy this phone. And of course, it should stay 100% for a long time, all right? So make sure to check this. And if there's any problem, I would advise you to actually exchange that smartphone, all right? Now, the next thing I want you guys to do is to go back into the settings. Now go into the actual display right over here, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to go to auto lock right over here and make sure you put this to 30 seconds. So basically, after 30 seconds of inactivity on your phone, if you just leave it on the table like this, it's going to turn off the screen, okay? Now I have it at 5 minutes just for the sake of this video, but you should have it as minimum as possible. And the reason is because the display eats so much battery life. The higher this number, the more battery you are wasting. So make sure you have that at 30 seconds. So after 30 seconds of inactivity, the screen turns off and you maximize your battery life. The other thing you want to do real quick as far as your interface is concerned is at the bottom here, it says bold text. So I like to have this on. It just makes everything nice and clear and pronounced. Now if I disable this, you'll notice that the text became less bold. It's sometimes actually hard to see when it's too bright outside. So if you click this and you enable bold text, everything is nice and bold and pronounced. Now when it comes to display, there's one more thing that you need to do. Now there is an auto brightness setting that's enabled in your iPhone, which should be over here, but it's not. So what I'm going to have you do is I want to have you disable auto brightness so you can manually control the brightness right from here, from the brightness slider, okay? So what you want to do is you want to go to accessibility, then you want to go into the actual display right over here where it says display and text size, and then all the way at the bottom, you'll see auto brightness. So this might be enabled. If this is enabled, the phone sets its own brightness based on ambient lighting. That's something you want to disable because you want to be able to control the brightness manually by yourself using the brightness slider right over here. It's also going to make it easy for you guys to see things based on your own custom preference, because the auto brightness sometimes makes the phone too dim or too bright. It doesn't work properly all the time. All right. Now the next thing is very, very important. So what we're going to do is we want to go to your Face ID and passcode. I'm assuming you already set up your Face ID. If you haven't done so, go ahead and do it so you can unlock your phone with your face. So go into the settings, dump in your password, and make sure all these options here are enabled so you can use your Face ID to unlock your phone, make purchases in the App Store, make payments at a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts using Apple Pay, and also auto-fill passwords for apps and also for browsers. But the biggest thing here that I always tell people to enable is to enable require attention for Face ID. Make sure this is not turned off, all right? So basically, this makes sure, let's say you're sleeping and somebody grabs your phone and puts it in front of your face to unlock it. If you have this enabled, it's not going to unlock the phone because the Face ID system requires you to actually look at the phone. But if you had this disabled and somebody puts it in front of your face, it could actually unlock the phone even when you're asleep. So that's a protection for that kind of stuff, all right? So make sure this is in fact enabled. And while we are here, something very important, you scroll down and you want to disable all these options right here, okay? Because right now it says allow access when locked. So if the phone is locked right now, and if I had all these enabled, all right, just to show you an example, if I lock the phone and turn it on, I am able to access the control panel from here and make changes to my phone, which is not a good thing. All right, this is a security problem, so you want to make sure that that is all disabled. So when I go back in here and scroll all the way down, if I disable all these guys, let me show you exactly what's happening. Nobody can access any one of these features on the lock screen when the phone is actually locked. So right now, I cannot pull down anything, as you can see, which is fantastic. So those are important options to quickly configure on your first time use. Now, one thing that actually gets on my nerves is when somebody calls me, the phone also starts to vibrate. So what you can do is you can go to your settings, go to sounds and haptics, and just disable vibrate on ring. So if the phone is ringing, there's no need for it to vibrate because you can hear the phone. And also, it's going to save you battery life. You can keep this one enabled, vibrate on silent. So if the phone is on silent, it is okay for it to vibrate because that's additional feedback in case you cannot hear it. But this one is really not necessary. All right, let's move on to the next tactic. Now, one very important feature on your iPhone is that you can restrict access to certain settings and applications on your iPhone. So when people have your phone, they can't do crazy stuff with it. So what you want to do is you want to go to the settings, all right? Then you want to go over to the screen time, which should be right here. So you tap on screen time. And if you have never set this before when I talk about the screen time, I want you guys to set a passcode for it, okay? So I'm going to tap on use screen time passcode. I'm going to set a simple password for now. Let's just do 00000. And that's going to make sure this whole thing is in fact secured. So when I go inside and if I try to do anything here, it's going to ask for a password. Now I'm going to skip these three things right over here, but I do want to talk about content and privacy restrictions, all right? So you can go in here and then you can enable this. It's going to ask for your PIN, the unique PIN for this particular option. And then from here, I want you guys to go into iTunes and App Store purchases and make sure installing, deleting apps, and in-app purchases are in fact not allowed, all right? So let me show you what that means by using this as an example. Deleting applications, not allowed. Only you can delete applications, nobody else can, right? So if I go out here, and if I press and hold on one of these guys and tap on rearrange apps, normally I can delete applications. You'll see an X mark here, but now you don't see the X mark because you restricted access to that option. Nobody can delete applications right now. Now if I go back here, let me click done. If I go back over here and if I go back here, go into iTunes and App Store, it's going to ask you a password every time. If I say allow delete apps and if I do the same thing, okay, as you can see, now I can delete applications. Let me just delete one over here just to show you. Boom, now that application is gone and you've lost all your data. That's not good, all right? So make sure you come here, you go in here, and you configure all these things properly. So if you want people to install applications, allow it or disallow it, but I at least go over here and don't allow this, and also stop allowing people from making in-app purchases, all right? So this is going to save you a lot of money if you have a kid or if you mistakenly make a lot of in-app purchases, okay? With this one, it's gonna disallow that, especially for other people that are using your phone and they just press buttons left and right. Another great thing is you can restrict access to apps. So if you go to allowed applications, you can actually restrict access to certain applications. Let me give you an example. So when I go out, here's Safari, here's the camera. I'm going to use those as an example. If I go back here, tap on allowed applications, put in my password, I can disable Safari and the camera. Now when I go back out, those two applications are gone, okay? So you can configure your phone this way if you so desire. Also useful if the phone is not yours, maybe the phone belongs to your kid or something or whatever, and you want to create some restrictions on the actual phone. Fantastic. Next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have access to everything that you need in the control center right here. Some of the important things that you want to have here is especially the low battery power mode. So if I click on this, it's going to limit the activities on the phone to make sure you save battery. So if I go to my settings real quick, and if I go to my battery over here, lower power mode is usually right over here. You can disable or enable it right from here. But if you want to have it right over here, that's just too much more convenient, okay? So to do that, you want to go into your settings, you want to go into your control center, then you want to click on customize controls, and you want to make sure the low power mode, which normally is not there, is going to be at the bottom here somewhere. You click on plus and it goes right here, and now it's going to reflect right over there. Also, you can grab this and you can move it anywhere you want, so when you pull this down, the lower power mode is going to move in relation to what you did over here. So you can also customize your control center from here as you please. Another way to customize your phone. The control center is something you're going to be accessing a lot, so make sure you have it configured exactly the way you want it. All right, let's move on to the next tactic. Now, one thing that you want to do is you want to go to your settings, okay, and then you want to go to the main settings. You want to go into your display right over here and scroll down and enable raise to wake. So basically, if you enable this, and if I turn off my phone, let's say you just want to glance at your phone, all right? All you do is raise it to wake, glance at it, and put it right back, okay? If you disable that feature, it's not going to work. If I have it just like this, and if I turn off the phone, now if I raise to wake, it's not going to work, as you can see, okay? So you would have to actually tap on it or something, or press the power button. A raise to wake just makes it easy to use. All right, so that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to Saki Tech for more tips and tricks. I will see you guys in the next video. For now, have a fantastic day, all right?